First of all, thank you for your time and for your initiative, actually. I want to ask you, was that Lithuania who inspired you to start a fundraising campaign for the drone for Ukraine?
Honestly speaking, it is the Bayraktar company that inspired me with the fact that they decided to give for free Bayraktar for Ukraine. And the same after Ukrainian chipping in after Ukrainians collected money. So I'm not hiding the fact that this is what we are counting on with this action. We would like to help you twice, like in organizing Bayraktar for you, but also in giving some support for your social purposes.
How much have you managed to raise by now?
1/3.
1/3. And you need 5 million.
Yeah, about it. Yes, exactly. So, but this is very different action than than Lithuanian and even Ukrainian, because Lithuanians prepared themselves for like 3 weeks. All authorities were on their side. I'm alone. I mean, I started spontaneously, and I was not prepared at all. I didn't even know that Lithuanians were so well organized and that everybody were on one side. Here in Poland, we have a political conflict. I'm left-wing, Polish authorities are right-wing. Usually we disagree. Of course, concerning Ukraine, I am for the full unity of Polish society. And I see that regular people are really the driver of this. Now also big media, and of course like celebrities or like big Polish names. But of course it's not easy. There is a holiday. I mean, it's a really very spontaneous action. There is no any financial fund to raise funds. That very often it is this way. But I think we will give us some time and we will succeed.
I appreciate it even more if so, and I wish you success. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Poland and its attitude towards the situation which is in Ukraine, towards the war. What is your explanation? Why did Russia invade Ukraine?
Because Russia is Russia. I mean, nothing really has changed in last, I don't know, 700 years, 600 years. I don't see a big difference between Putin and the previous Tsars, like no matter red or white. So this is a question of political culture, I would say, of something that is in the air. In the Russian, I would say, political system. So it's not even a question of one person and everything else is okay, or it's a question of regular Russians, like the different humankind. I mean, of course they support Putin and they are to be blamed for it. No, of course. I mean, it cannot justify this. But I think the problem is even more deep, in a sense that this is in kind of a mentality of Russian nation. So Russia is Russia. This is why Russia invaded Poland before, Lithuania, Ukraine, and will invade always if we will not stop it.
Looking back, did you believe in February, or did you have a feeling that Russia would invade Ukraine?
I would say that I was less surprised than my Western friends. I'm a member of German Council on Foreign Relations. As a Pole, I have to say, frankly, I couldn't be openly an expert on Russia, because a Pole on Russia talking means somebody who is for sure biased. So only now, I can talk freely. I mean, I could always talk freely, but now people hear what Poles want to say about Russia or Ukraine. So I was not very surprised. 24th. That in the last days we know they were burning papers in the embassies or consulates. So and of course, like I saw the speech of President Zelensky, which was heartbreaking, and we knew that something will happen for sure. What was surprising is the attitude of Ukrainian army. We heard so many times that 10 years ago there was no Ukrainian army, and then and like, I mean, so many stupid things. And now everybody knows what means Ukrainian army, what means Ukrainian bravery, professionality, and determination. So I would say that of Ukraine, it's not Russia that surprised us. It's Ukraine that surprised us. How tough a nation, how tough country it is, stable and strong.
Both Russian propaganda and some politicians every now and then threaten Warsaw as well. One day they say that you will see Russian tanks in Warsaw. The other day they say they will attack you with nuclear weapons. Do you take it seriously in Poland?
Seriously, in a sense that they are so crazy that they really can do stupid things. And they really believe that NATO is like to invade Russia, as we wouldn't have any better idea than to invade Russia. Why would we? I mean, what's so interesting in Russia to invade it? I don't think that there is Russia has this like mania of getting new territories. No normal civilized country thinks anymore about gathering some new territories like France or Great Britain or or Germany. I mean, if you want to develop your country, if you want to be stronger, if you want to be a more significant nation, you don't go for territories. You go for a better economy, more technologically advanced society. But Russia somehow doesn't know it or goes another direction. So yes, we are listening what they are talking in the Kremlin, not because they are serious, but because they are not serious people. And this is why they can make mistakes. And one of the mistakes they made is invasion on Ukraine. I mean, Russia is weaker, not stronger. NATO is closer, not further from Russia. So it's stupid. It's a mistake. They also are ruining their own army, their own society, their own country, isolating it. So of course they can do it again, and they will do it again if Ukrainians will lose this war. So we cannot agree to. We have to do everything what's possible that Ukraine will win this war.
The Suwalki Gap or Suwalki Corridor, your president has visited this place these days in the company of the president of Lithuania. Do you think that there is a problem in that region? Do you believe that Russian military can try to attack this piece of land?
Well, I saw it many times in Russian TV. When kind of a post-Soviet soldiers were discussing this like corridor and what they're gonna do in Lithuania, what they're gonna do there and here. I mean, of course, it's like on one hand it's funny, on the other hand it's sad. But of course it's in the same time dangerous. Like, oh, come on, if you are in one room with like crazy animal, I mean, it can bite you, of course. And when I said that there is kind of a territory nationalism in Russia or territory fascism, there is also some kind of natural resources mania. And this corridor is very rich. Not too many people know about it, but it's a very, very rich part of Poland concerning natural resources. So of course, I mean, once they know it, I mean, once they get to know it, they can really think that like, this can we have again? I mean, like it's not enough that we have 1/7 or 1/6 of the earth. We also need to have this little piece of map, which is this corridor.
And would that be the shortest war ever if they try to attack it?
Don't know. I must say, I mean, openly that that like I really hope that Article number 5 is iron, and it's something that is absolutely clear what it means. But if you read it, there is no clear answer what means reaction of all these countries if one is attacked, or when. One reaction is you can invade, like, Russia. I mean, if you're NATO, or let's send soldiers or whatever. But you can also send a commission that will study what is going on there for 2 weeks, and Lithuania will be swallowed, or even part of Poland. So what is clear to me is that Ukraine depends, first of all, second and third and fourth of all, from Ukraine, on Ukrainians. I mean, you're gonna decide about your fate, not because it's because this is the world. I mean, this is we used to say in Poland that nobody would like to die for Gdańsk. This expression we have, that nobody ever died for Gdańsk. So it's better, it's good to have alliances and soldiers here, American soldiers here, or American equipment. But it's good also to have your own army, your own strong society, territorial defense, your own good equipment. So I would do this double check. Let's have NATO, but let's have also strong Polish army.
And what about NATO military presence in your country these days?
It's not enough. Madrid summit to me was I would say disappointing, openly speaking, because this model that you're not gonna create NATO bases in the eastern flank. I think it is still a kind of a fear towards Russia, which I don't see why. It's still this attitude like, let's not provoke Russia. Russia is provoked already. Like, do you really need? Russia doesn't need to be provoked provocation to be provoked to act. So I would rather say that Russian borders are where you stop Russia. Okay, so I would really prefer to have NATO bases on the eastern flank, NATO soldiers, equipment, and everything. But still, it's a question of future. Especially, Poland, it's still in much better situation than Lithuania, Estonia, or Latvia. And I'm really afraid of these countries, first of all, and then Poland, second of all. But of course, now my heart is beating for Ukraine, first of all.
Poland has just completed building the wall at the border with Belarus. Do you expect any surprises from Lukashenko? Is he a threat for you?
This is another crazy leader. And I was in Minsk in August 2020, and I was reporting from there, in entire protests, and I'm very attracted and very connected to Belarusian society. So for example, here I have Belarusian flag.
You have a collection of flags.
No, I'm not crazy. I am somehow in this kind of little mania now because I have to gather this money. I have to call people, send messages. So you can think that I'm a little bit too active, and I have these flags and everything. I'm a regular person normally, in normal life. But now it's a very extraordinary time. But I wanted to prove and to give opportunity for Belarusians living in Poland to show that they are on the Ukrainian side, that Lukashenko is a friend of Putin, but Belarusians are friends of Ukrainians and Poles. And so, for example, the action has kind of a sub-action, like sub-collection, and different ones. And the biggest one is from Belarusians. And I'm very, very happy for it because I'm fighting with these prejudices that Belarusians are supporting Russia. Some part of society, but some part of German society also, or Italian society. So So I'm trying to help also Belarusians on their way to freedom. But like I'm sorry, maybe I forgot your question.
I asked you, is Lukashenko a threat for Poland? For example, do you believe that if Putin gives him an order to attack the Suwalki Gap, for example, will he do it?
I mean, what I learned in Belarus is that, unlike OMON, KGB, and some other like political police that is supporting Lukashenko, army, it's another story. I mean, I remember soldiers standing like 1 meter from me on the other side of the barricades during protests in 2020. Those boys were more scared than us. I mean, I'm sure that Lukashenko did not want to verify on what side the army will go. Okay, so I can imagine if you ask me what's going to happen if the Belarusian army will invade Ukraine, I would say that 70% of these boys or 50% of these boys will immediately turn sides or just decide to give up. I cannot imagine Belarusians and Ukrainians shooting to each other. It's just unbelievable. And the rest will be just beaten by Ukrainians. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's going to be disqualification of Belarusian army. Concerning Poland, I don't know if Polish army is so strong as Ukrainian army. I don't think so. But still, I don't think that Belarusian army can do any real harm. I mean, and I know that the first victim of this entire mess will be Lukashenko, because sending soldiers to Ukraine means that those soldiers will come back one day, and they will be good soldiers if they come back, because they will be schooled soldiers and they will have their guns, and they can really do harm to Lukashenko. Some of them are protesters from 2020. So I mean, Lukashenko is doing everything not to join this war, in a sense that invading. Of course he joined already, but not full.
What do you think of the perspectives of any military alliance with Ukraine, Poland, and, for example, Britain in it, as it is often discussed?
Well, as I said, NATO is important, and NATO is absolutely, decisive for Polish security. By the way, I think that the place of Ukraine is in NATO. I mean, and I don't really understand what's so controversial in it. I mean, not let alone the European Union. The place of Ukraine is absolutely in the European Union. If Poland it is, why not Ukraine? But concerning this, not smaller alliances, I would say, it makes sense because NATO can be also divided. You saw what Turks did concerning Sweden and Finland. There is not full trust inside NATO, and there are big differences between. It's another story if you border Russia than if you border Atlantic Ocean. So I would say that this triangle, for example, Ukraine, Great Britain, and what's the third part of this triangle?
Poland.
Poland, yes. So this makes sense, of course. But as I said, it's not gonna change anything, because only Britain is really prepared, and Ukraine to have a war. For Poland, it's kind of an opportunity to increase the level. We don't have a very strong army, unfortunately.
And will the war in Ukraine make your authorities to change something, to make your army more powerful?
I hope. After 2015, the ruling party and the government at that time decided to cancel most important contracts, especially the one for Caracals, for helicopters. And this made us on the collision course with France, and they remember it. I mean, I had meetings at Elysee with Macron, and I remember he was like, after years, this was last November, and he recalled it. He told me that like, you know, they still remember Caracas, and and the same happens to another contracts. They also decimated Polish army, expelling the best leaders of the army. So they made many mistakes. They also dissolved Polish military intelligence, which is unbelievable, but they did. So I think that there is a lot of to make up, to enhance, to make better. And this what happened in Ukraine. I hope it's a shower, like a cold shower for this government. Also concerning alliances, the conflict with Brussels before the conflict with Washington. So let's hope, like, you know, they are populists here, but let's hope they are not going to be populists in the foreign policy.
And my last question, do you believe that at the end of the day, Russia will be defeated?
Yes, of course, by Ukrainians.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time, for your thoughts, and for your help with the drone. I wish you success. I wish you to have that amount of money by the end of July.
Let's hope. Like, I promise we're going to do our best. No matter how much we gather, everything will go for your special fund in National Bank of Ukraine. So this 7 million that we have is already for you. Right? So, I mean, but we're going to do better.
Thank you very much for support.
Thank you for your fight. Take care.
Okay, bye.